Welcome students. Today I am going to discuss on route stability criterion. For a linear time invariant systems, this requires that all poles of the closed loop transfer function lies in the left half of the complex plane. That means for a system to be stable, all the poles of the closed loop transfer function must be in the left half of S plane. So if you are given a transfer function, so we have to locate whether the poles are lying either in the right half of S plane or left half of S plane or on the imaginary axis. If the poles are located in the right half of S plane, the system is unstable. The poles are located on the imaginary axis, the system is marginally stable, and if the poles are located on the left half of S plane, the system is stable. So Routh-Hurwitz criterion. It determines if any roots of a polynomial equation lie on the outside of the left half of complex plane, but it does not find the exact location of the roots. It can find only the roots which are lying on left or right half of S plane or on the imaginary axis of S plane. So let us consider a second order system. So here the polynomial equation is a quadratic equation. So finding the roots for this, you can see that S minus P1 into S minus P2, where P1, P2 are poles. So these two poles are located in the left half of S plane, right? So the system for these two poles will be stable. Suppose if we consider a third order system, so there are three poles, P1, P2, P3. So these three poles are located on the left half of S plane. So the system is stable. So if you have the characteristic equation or characteristics polynomial, you can find the stability of the system by locating the poles in the S plane. Suppose all the roots are real and on the left of a plane, then all the coefficient of the polynomial are positive. So here, this for the second order system, this is a second order polynomial equation, and here the third order polynomial equation. So we have to see whether the coefficients are positive or greater than 0. Suppose that all the roots are real and on the left of a plane, then all the coefficient of the polynomial will be positive. If all the roots are real and in the left of a plane, then no coefficient can be 0. So the only case for which a coefficient can be negative is when there is at least one root in the right of a S plane. These three conditions are the necessary condition for Routh stability criterion. That is, all the coefficient of the polynomial characteristic equation should be positive and it should be greater than 0. Now that is non-zero. Let us consider a polynomial equation s cube plus s square plus 2s plus 8. Here in this case, though all the coefficients are positive and non-zero, the coefficients are non-zero. Here you can see when you find the roots, so you will get 3 roots. Here in this problem or in this case, 2 roots are in the right half of S plane. 1 root is on the left half of S plane. So the system, though all the coefficients are positive and greater than 0, the system is unstable. So sometimes the necessary conditions may be satisfied for stability, but it is not sufficient for finding the stability of the system. So we have to go for Routh-Hurwitz sufficient condition for getting the stability of the system. So in this case, you can see the system is unstable. So we need to find out the necessary and sufficient criterion for the stability of linear system by using Routh stability criterion. So the necessary conditions are there should be no missing term. That is, the coefficient should not be 0. So in this case, here you can see 3s power 4 plus 4s cube plus 5s plus 1 equal to 0. Here s square term is missing. So the system will be unstable. So the one more condition, all the variables should be of same sign. That is 5s cube minus 3s square plus 5s plus 1. Here the coefficient of s square is negative. So the system will be unstable. These two are the necessary condition for Routh stability criterion. Next, we will find the sufficient conditions. So for that, we need the polynomial expression of the characteristic equations. So for Routh stability criterion, first we have to form the Routh-Hurwitz array from the given characteristics polynomial of nth order system. So here you can see that the characteristic equation P of s is equal to an s power n plus an minus 1 s power n minus 1. So the last coefficient is a naught. So first in the array, we're formulating the array. First to write the s terms in the first column. So s power n minus 1 till s power 0. So the next you have to fill up the first two rows of the Routh array. So here the highest order first the coefficient of highest order s power n is an. So then the alternate terms. So here write the coefficient of alternate terms. So we'll get an minus 2, an minus 4. Then coefficient of s power n minus 1 is an minus 1, an minus 3. Okay. Then from the first two row, we have to fill up the remaining rows of the Routh-Hurwitz array. So here from the first two row, B1, B2, B3, we have to find out by using the first two row elements. Okay. So then we have to find out C1, C2. So till the s power 0 term, so you have to find out all the elements. How to fill up the elements? So P1, how to find out the P1? So in order to find out B1, you first take the first column and second column elements in the from the first two row. Okay, an minus 1, an minus 2, an minus 3. So in order to get P1, P1 is equal to so P1 is equal to an minus 1 minus into an minus 2 minus an into an minus 3. An minus 3. So a n into a n minus 3 divided by a n minus 1. Okay. So first we multiply a n minus 1 into a n minus 2 minus a n into a n minus 3 divided by a n minus 1. Likewise, b2 can be obtained by multiply a n minus 1 into a n minus 4 divided by minus a n into a n minus 5 divided by a n minus 1. So in the same fashion, you can find out the remaining element in the third row. Then in order to find out C1 and take the previous two rows, two element. So P1 into a n minus 3 minus a n minus 1 into B2 divided by B1. So in this fashion, you can fill up all the elements in the Routh array. Okay, so you have to find out the determinant terms. Okay, once formulating all the elements in the Routh array, you check the first column of the Routh array. So in the first column, all the elements are positive and greater than 0, then the system is stable. And if any one element is negative, the system will be unstable. There are different cases. We will discuss each case. So first case is you check all the elements are positive and greater than 0. And if any one element is negative, count the sign changes. The number of sign changes indicate the number of poles located in the right half of S-plane. So the system will be unstable. Second case is, suppose in the first column of Routh array, any one element is 0, but the remaining elements you will get as some number, either positive or negative. In that case, we cannot proceed. Third case is if all the elements in a row is 0. Okay, in that case also we cannot proceed. So we have to solve the problem in different manners. Okay, and final case is in the last element, the polynomial equation may be a constant. We may get a gain value k where. So you have to find out the k for which the system is stable. So mainly there are 5 cases. The first case is all the element is positive and greater than 0, the system will be stable. Second case is if there is any one or two element is negative, the system will be unstable. So in that case, you have to check the sign changes. The number of sign changes indicate the number of poles located in the right half of S-plane. The third case is if the first column of the Routh array, if any one element is 0, so you have to proceed with a small number, assigning a small number, then a small number epsilon, and we have to proceed. So you will get the Routh array elements in terms of epsilon. Okay, finally you replace that epsilon with a 0 and check for the stability. Okay, next case is if all the elements in a row is 0. Okay, all the elements are 0. So in that case, what we have to do is we have to formulate an auxiliary equation from its previous row. Okay, then you differentiate the auxiliary equation with respect to S, then you fill up that element with, then you have to proceed. So in that case, if all the elements are 0 in a row, then the system will be naturally oscillatory or unstable. marginally stable. The final case is the polynomial equation, that is the characteristic equation will have a gain value k. So we have to find out a suitable value of k such that the system will be stable. Okay. These are the cases we will discuss one by one with an example. Okay. So let us consider a third order polynomial expression. So here it is given as s cube plus s square plus 2s plus 8. So first we have to form the Routh array. So s cube, s square, s1 and s power 0. This is the first column. Then you fill up the first two row element. So the coefficient s cube is 1. The alternate element is coefficient s. That is 2. Then the coefficient s square is 1. And its alternate term is 8. Okay. Then multiply these two. So 1 into 2. So multiply 1 into 2. So 1 into 2 minus 1 into 8 divided by 1. So we'll get minus 6. Okay. So here these row, these columns are 0. So we'll get only s power 1 element will be minus 6. This will be 0. Then multiply 8 minus 6 into 8 minus 0 divided by minus 6. So we'll get 8. Then you check the first column. You can see there is two sign changes from 1 to minus 6 and minus 6 to 8. Okay. So there are two sign changes in the first column. So there are two roots of polynomial in the right half of S plane. The system is unstable. So the Routh-Hurwitz criterion shows only the stability of the system. It does not give the location of the roots. Therefore, no information about the transient response of a stable system is derived from the Routh-Hurwitz criterion. And also, it gives no information about the steady state response. Obviously, other analysis technique such as graphical methods can be used instead of Routh criterion in order to find the steady state and transient response of a system. So next case, so let us consider a problem of fifth order system P of s equal to s power 5 plus 2 s power 4 plus 2s cube plus 4s square plus 11s plus 10. So here the necessary condition. For checking the necessary condition, you can see all the coefficient of s term of the polynomial equations are past one greater than 0. So next we have to go for the sufficient condition. So in this problem, first I filled the first column s power 5, s power 4, s cube, s square, s power 1, s power 0. Here the first two array elements are 1, 2, 11, 2, 4, 10 from the polynomial expression. Then while filling the third row, here you can see this element, so 2 into 2 minus 1 into 4 is 0 divided by something, you will get 0. So this term is 0. So what I do, I assign a small number epsilon in the third row in the first column and I proceed. Okay. So here with a small element, that is epsilon, if I proceeded, what happens? So multiplying 4 into epsilon. 4 into epsilon minus 12 divided by epsilon. Okay. So we'll get minus 12 divided by epsilon because epsilon is 0. So we'll get minus 12 divided by epsilon. So epsilon is 0. If you assign epsilon is 0, so we'll get minus infinity. Okay. Then if you proceeded, so we'll get the remaining element. So here you get P1 is 0 and here it is 6. And I assigned this element with P1 with epsilon. So with the epsilon, so we have to proceed. Okay. So after that, what happens? When I replace epsilon with 0, here this term becomes infinity. Okay, minus infinity. So you can count for the sign changes. There are two sign changes. Okay. From 0 to minus infinity to plus 6. So the system is unstable. Okay. Let us consider the next problem. Suppose all the elements in a row are 0. Okay. So let us consider this problem. S cube plus S square plus 2S plus 2. So here the first two row elements are 1, 2, 1, 2. So in the third row, if you find it becomes 0, and here this is also 0. Okay. So all the elements are 0. In that case, we have to formulate an auxiliary expression from its previous row. So the auxiliary expression is, so in this third row, all the elements are 0. So we have to take its previous row. So formulate the auxiliary equation, some A equal to S square plus 2S. Okay. Then you differentiate this with respect to S. So we'll get 2S. Okay. So you can fill up this with the 2 and the 2 or 1 divided by 2, you will get 1, 1. Okay. You can replace this with 1 and 1. So 1 into 2 minus 1 divided by 1. 2 minus 1, 1. So we'll get 1. So after that, you have to check for the stability. So the first column, all the elements are positive and greater than 0. Though it is positive and greater than 0. Okay. If all the elements are 0 in a row, the system will be marginally stable. Okay. So normally in this case, you can find out what is the roots lying on the imaginary axis. So you take the auxiliary equation, 2s equal to 0. So we'll get s square plus 2s equal to 0. So s square, this will becomes this is not, for example, this is s square plus 2. So we'll get 2s only. Okay. So one pole, so here it is 0. This is 2 only. So s square plus 2. Because while formulating the auxiliary equation, you have to take only the alternative terms. So s square plus 2 only. So the auxiliary equation is s square plus 2. So differentiating TA with respect to s, you will get 2s only. This is 0. Okay. So here you will get 2. This is 2. This is 0. Okay. So 2 into 2, 4 minus 1. So we'll get this is 0. So here from the auxiliary equation s square equal to minus 2, then s is equal to plus or minus j. So there are two poles lying on the imaginary axis, so the system will be naturally oscillatory. So s equal to j omega, omega equal to plus or minus j root 2. So omega equal to, so omega is equal to the oscillation frequency will be root 2 plus or minus root 2. So this is the auxiliary radian per second oscillation frequency. Okay. So if all the elements in a row become 0, formulate the auxiliary equation. Then differentiate the auxiliary equation with respect to s. You will get 2s. So substitute here 2. Then you can find out the remaining element. Then you can check the stability. So in the first column, all the elements are positive. So the system seems to be stable, but some roots may be on the imaginary axis. Then from the auxiliary equation, you can find out the imaginary axis poles. So here for this problem, s square plus 2 equal to 0. So s square equal to minus 2. So s equal to plus or minus j root 2. So omega equal to root 2 is the oscillation frequency. Okay. This is the same problem. So next, the final case, suppose if you are given a characteristic equation, g of s equal to some k divided by s plus 2 into s plus 4, s square plus 6s plus 25. So here, this is open loop transfer function, finding the closed loop transfer function. G of s divided by 1 plus g of s, you will get k divided by s plus 2 into s plus 4 into s square plus 6s plus 25 plus k. So the characteristic equation is, here you can see s power 4, simplifying the denominator expression. So we'll get s power 4 plus 12 s cube plus 69 s square plus 198 s plus 200 plus k. So here in this characteristic equation, you can see the gain k. It is an unknown value. We have to find out the k for which the system is stable. So the problem statement will be, you will be given a open loop transfer function or closed loop transfer function in terms of k. So you have to find out the range of k for which the system is stable by using the Routh stability criterion. So here, once we have the characteristic equation, next step is we have to form the Routh array. So the first two row elements are 169 and 200 plus k, and the next element is 12, 198. Okay, simplifying this, so we'll get s power 4 169 200 plus k, and s cube term will be 116.5. Then the row elements can be obtained by multiplying 1 into 69 minus 1 into 16.5 divided by 1, which is 52.5, and here this element will be 200 plus k. In this way, we can find out the remaining elements, which these array elements are in terms of k. Okay. So the condition for stability is, in the first column, all the elements will be positive and greater than 0. But these elements are in terms of k. So you apply the stability condition. Okay. So 666.25 minus k divided by 52.5 should be greater than 0. Applying this condition, you will get 666.25 minus k greater than 0. So from this you can find the k should be less than 666.25. Okay, for which the system will be stable. So the next element is 200 plus k. This should also be greater than 0. So here you get minus 200. K value is minus 200, but it should be greater than minus 200. So the range becomes, okay, 0 to 666.25 or minus 200 to 666.25. So for which the system will be stable. So there is one condition exists. Okay, suppose when the k value is exactly equal to 666.25, then in that row all the element will be 0. So what we can do, substitute the k in this row element. You formulate the auxiliary equation from its previous row. Okay, so the auxiliary equation becomes 52.5 s square plus 200 plus k equal to 0, where k is 666.25. So what you get is s square equal to minus 16.5. So s will be plus or minus j 4.06. So there are two poles lying on the imaginary axis. Okay, then oscillation frequency will be s equal to j omega. So omega become 4.06 radian per second. So in the Raoult stability criterion, I would like to conclude with some of the important key points. The first thing is we have to find out the necessary and sufficient condition for finding the stability of the system. For necessary condition, for the given polynomial characteristic equation, all the coefficient of s term should be positive and greater than 0. Then once even some cases, if it satisfies the necessary condition, sometimes it may not be stable, because the system may become even unstable also. So in that case, we have to check for the sufficient condition. So for that, we have to formulate the Raoult array. So in the formulating the Raoult array, so after formulating, we have to check the first row. Okay, first column of the Raoult array. If all the elements are positive and greater than 0, the system is stable. The next case is, suppose if any one element is negative, one or two elements may be negative. In that case, you have to check whether there are sign changes. So if there are sign changes, found the sign changes, the number of sign changes indicate the number of poles lying on the right of S plane. The next case is, if any one element, the first column is 0, not all the element, any one element, you assign a small number epsilon, then you proceed. Okay, after finding all the elements which will be in terms of epsilon, then finally you replace with epsilon. Okay, you will get some value. Okay, some value, then you check for the Raoult stability conditions. Okay, the next case will be, if all the elements in a row is 0, you have to formulate an auxiliary equation. Then from the auxiliary equation, you differentiate with respect to s, you will get the coefficient of unknown elements. Okay, from that you can proceed and fill up all the elements. Okay, so in that case, once we have the auxiliary equation, okay, from that you can find out the poles located on the imaginary axis and also oscillation frequency. Okay, now finally the characteristic equations may be in terms of k, some unknown value. So you have to find out the k for which the system is stable. So with this we conclude the session. Thank you.